I'm Mishka and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be continuing the Let's Play of Our Life Beginnings and Always. This is episode 4. If you have not checked the other videos, it is highly recommended that you go and watch the other 3 episodes that are out right now, so then you can come back on this one. But before we get started, make sure to hit the subscribe button and share with your friends if you find this entertaining. And yeah, but that is all, and I hope you enjoy. So we are going to be doing a long day. The third moment. Okay. It was another scorching summer day, the kind where no sooner had you finished 1 cup of water, you were already filling up again. Everyone else had something going on, so that afternoon it was just you and 𝐍𝐨𝐶. This didn't happen much, especially since 𝐸𝐿 had arrived. Without Lizzie around, 𝐍𝐨𝐶 looked to you for all the answers. It made you feel nothing really, honestly. Like, we could care less about 𝐍𝐨𝐶. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna actually turn this up a little bit. 𝐍𝐨𝐶 went along with whatever you wanted, so he wasn't a bother, but oh my gosh. Sorry, but he also wasn't that much fun. You drained yet another drink and frowned at the empty vessel. Your thirst was gone, but you still craved something icy cold and refreshing. Something sweet, something like, oh, a popsicle. You wanted something fruity and brightly colored. There was nothing like that to be found at home. You knew that without needing to look. Your mom didn't keep sweets in the house. Outside, there were plenty of places where such goodies could be obtained, but they were shops and demanded payment in exchange for their products. Ask 𝐍𝐨𝐶 for help. 𝐍𝐨𝐶, do you have any money?
Oh,
Let me check. That was easy. You felt like you should tell him why you're asking. Thanks, I want a popsicle, but my moms don't keep any here. 𝐍𝐨𝐶 rummaged in his backpack and proudly produced an assortment of coins plus 1 stray button. You set the button aside and counted the coins in neat piles. Just over $1. You announced this to 𝐍𝐨𝐶. He had almost certainly come to the same conclusion, but he'd been watching you expectantly. It's a start. Yeah, it's a start, you know? That's something. 𝐍𝐨𝐶 beamed at you. We'll need to find some more. Okay. The two of you lifted couch cushions, tucked tiny hands down deep crevices in the sofas and under furniture, and scoured the back of drawers. Most of what you found was useless or gross, bent paper clips, fluffy whiffs of dust or sandy crumbs, but every so often one of you would strike silver or bronze and add it to the growing pile of coins. Dusty and disheveled from checking every room and squinting into every tiny nook, the two of you finished pooling your finds. 𝐍𝐨𝐶 held his breath as you counted the coins once again. $20.53 and 2 buttons. You didn't know when the second button had decided to join the party, but you were too pleased with your successful haul to throw it out. Is that enough? You figured he knew the answer without looking to you for confirmation, but the thrill of your success and the reward that would follow canceled out any other feelings you might have had about that. Yeah! You can now afford something at the shops, just one thing, but that was infinitely better than none. 𝐍𝐨𝐶 clapped his hands. Yay! The two of you dashed outside. The promise of sugar buoyed you on to your destination where, breathless but happy, you stared at the overwhelming number of options. You knew what you wanted, but it wasn't just you who had contributed the funds to get the treat. He seemed to notice your pause. Aren't you getting a popsicle? 𝐍𝐨𝐶 asked as though he was entirely separate from the decision, rather than someone who with a stake in the outcome. Do you mind? 𝐍𝐨𝐶 cocked his head to the side. It was your idea, you should choose. Yeah, because you weren't going to get anything anyway. Yeah, go ahead and get what you want. You were thrilled that 𝐍𝐨𝐶 wasn't going to be an obstacle between you and your original choice. Without wasting another second, you exchanged cold, hard cash for equally cold, but maybe less hard dessert. Finally, the reward for all your hard work was in your hands. You sucked on the fruity popsicle you'd bought. The icy treat cooled you down perfectly, and the zesty flavor was refreshing. You held it up to 𝐍𝐨𝐶 so he could take a turn. He shook his head.
You can
He didn't want any after everything he did to help to get it? That was weird. But you accepted the offer because I'm not letting you get my treat. Sorry. Go away. There was no point arguing. It was already melting under the rays of the sweltering summer sun. You eagerly tucked back in. The cold, sugary treat quenched you in ways that the water just couldn't reach. The two of you began to head home as you ate. You were glad to get the treat all to yourself. Only half wouldn't have been nearly as good. Even so, you couldn't help but wonder what 𝐍𝐸 was thinking. You walked side by side on the shore in silence, but your thoughts kept drifting to the boy beside you. Why didn't he speak up for himself? It was almost as if 𝐍𝐸 didn't know how to say what he felt or was too afraid to. Are we friends? Like, I mean, you're so weird. You don't talk to us. You talk to Lizzie. 𝐍𝐸 opened his eyes wide, seemingly caught off guard by the blunt question. Yeah, I think so. You think so? He says that, but friends should be able to talk to each other without being scared. If 𝐍𝐸 wouldn't do that, were you even really friends at all? No. He rubbed his hands nervously over your non-reaction.
Sorry.
You weren't sure how sorry he could be without knowing what he's even apologizing for, but you shook your head. You didn't do anything. It was true. 𝐍𝐸 had done something mean. He'd gone out of his way to make you happy. That didn't seem like it should be a bad thing, yet it bothered you. I just don't know if you like me. It's like no matter what I do, you're gonna act the same. I could be anybody you wouldn't care. No, I like you. I really, really like you, Mina. I want to be friends. Then act like it! You're so stupid! Okay. You smiled hesitantly at him, and his fidgeting ceased. Even though you weren't sure if you believed him, this was only making things worse. You decided that maybe there were all types of friends. If 𝐍𝐸 wasn't able to do things differently, this would have to be alright. 𝐍𝐸 made you unsure about setting a label on the experience of spending the afternoon with just him. There have been good times and there have been confusing ones. You were positive of one thing at least. The treat was delicious and that was nice. The sun was low on the horizon as you returned to your neighborhood. There you spotted two very familiar figures up ahead, Lizzie and Cove. What are they doing? You opened your mouth to make your presence known to them just as you saw the tears on Cove's face. No! What happened? What happened? You walked straight over 𝐍𝐸 at your heels. Once there, you... No, that's what happened. Without a time machine, the only way you were going to find out what was by asking the witnesses. Lizzie might have done something wrong, but she could have been in the wrong place at the wrong time, or even come to Cove's aid. You wanted to hear the story. Cove, what happened? Yeah, what happened? You got yelled at? By who? He took a deep, steadying breath. Some grandparents got mad at me. No, it's those people from like the beginning of the summer when like in episode 1. Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry. Dude, no way, they're here? Lizzie jerked her head in the direction of a nearby house. Your heart sunk. You knew exactly what had happened. Every year, the same mean old couple rented out that condo for the summer. You, Lizzie, and 𝐍𝐸 knew to stay away from them, but Cove couldn't have. They're like that with everyone. Even your mom struggled to find anything nice to say about them, but the elderly pair particularly took offense to kids. It didn't matter if they were really nice like Cove. Yeah, Lizzie said. Lizzie drew herself up at that. She looked pointedly in your direction. Oh, shut up. Oh my god, just shut up. Who cares if you were helping? Don't look in our direction and be like, yeah, I'm just happy. That's cool. Is there anything I can do?
No.
No, I'm just gonna stay away. Or you could teach them a lesson. There was a devilish glint in her eyes. What? You should ding-dong ditch them. You ring the doorbell and run. It'll be great because they're so slow. They'll never catch you. That's dumb. I don't want to go near them ever again.
You're just saying that because you're a chicken.
Okay. Clove glared but didn't take the bait. Lizzie turned to you. You're not a chicken, are you? No, you're a chicken because you're not gonna do it. You're gonna make us do it. Oh, let's do it, honestly. I'm all for it. Really? You took a deep breath and nodded. Lizzie squealed with delight. Well, go hide. Run as soon as you hit the bell. Good luck. Lizzie and Shiloh ran across the road to take shelter in the bushes. Even once they'd settled down, you could make out two child-sized shapes staring between the leaves. You knew where to look for them, though, and so you told yourself that the grouchy old people wouldn't spot it. Cope sighed, his gaze flicking to the house and then back to you. Don't let them catch you, okay? Be careful. I'll be quick as a flash. Aw, Cope's worried about us! Aw, that's so sweet! Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Cope glanced back before he'd even reached the other side and stumbled as his foot caught on the sidewalk. He straightened up and looked back to smile nervously at you before joining Lizzie and Shiloh in their hideaway. Aw, that's so sweet, he's worried about us! Aw. The weight of 3 pairs of eyes on your back was heavier than anything you carried before as you approached the door. You hesitated as you reached for the doorbell, then... You've run it! Just do it, girl! You slapped the buzzard and ran. Blood thumped against your eardrums with every step. Would he make it in time? Approaching the hiding spot, you knew there wasn't time to go around the bushes as the others had done. You took a shortcut, leaping over them. You're gonna land on someone! Or to be more accurate, crashing into the top of the bushes and falling over to the other side, like I said. Cope quietly hissed at you, unwittingly collided. Cope quietly hissed as you unwittingly collided into him, but by the way his arms were out, it seemed like he had intentionally tried to cushion your landing. That's so funny! Okay, I'm fangirling for no reason. Shh. Okay. Lizzie put a finger to her lips and nodded at the house. You disentangled your limbs from Cove's and spun around to see the old man framed in the doorway, peering back and forth suspiciously. You covered your mouth with your hands, but it wasn't enough to stifle your giggles. Maybe he spotted one of you, or maybe it was the leaves you displaced while jumping, but he locked eyes with the bush and stormed over in your direction. Shiloh gasped and looked to Lizzie. Run. Your sister did not hesitate to take her own advice, neither did Shiloh. You got up, but seeing Cove struggling to extract himself and stand up with just one fully functional arm, gave him a hand getting to his feet. It wasn't your intention to run still holding on to each other, but neither of you remembered to let go. The old man's hollers propelled you all the way from the street to the sanctuary of the hill. I don't know how to say the word. Only once you were safe did you notice the stitch in your chest and the ache of your legs. You flopped down, the blades of grass tickling your face. Lizzie, who had taken the lead in the end, was already lazing on the ground. The 4 of you took a moment to catch your breath and enjoy the feeling of cool grass against your skin. Look how pretty this background is. I'm taking a picture of that. That's so pretty. The CGs in this game are just so pretty. Like how?
Cove.
Hey, Cove. Cove lifted his head. I told you there were mean grandparents around here. Cove rolled his eyes, then decided this wasn't dismissive enough. Oh my gosh, dismissive enough, and rolled his whole body away from your sister. Lizzie chose to ignore his response and started chatting to Shiloh, who eagerly joined in the conversation. In the back of your mind, you knew you'd be second fiddle again to Shiloh once Lizzie came around. It always went like that. Who cares? I do not care. It was fine. I don't care. Shiloh could prefer Lizzie as much as he wanted to. There were other things to attend to anyway. I don't care about Shiloh and his favoritism. I don't care. I could care less. You wriggled closer to Cove. He had calmed down for the most part and was expecting a flower. His fingers pinched the stem and tilted the white petals towards him. That's a poppy. Clove glanced at you in acknowledgement, then back to the flower. And the type of poppies on this hill had the name white linen poppy. Mom told me. He quirked a smile. Oh, he's so sweet. That's funny. He ran a finger around the edge of the petals. It doesn't feel like cloth. You'd need a lot of them to make anything. He nodded and released the delicate plant. Evaluation complete. I cannot talk. This is my favorite kind of flower, but I didn't know what it was called. Thanks. Oh! Oh, wait. We can pick what our favorite flower is? Okay, since my last name in this game is Rose, I'm just gonna say I like roses. They smell really nice. Those are fancy flowers. You'd look good with them. Wait, what? Wait, what? Why? Cause you just would. He's so cute. Oh my god. I'm big girlin'. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. He stopped the conversation there, suddenly shy. I'm fangirling over a character who doesn't exist. Oh my goodness. You moved onto your back with a small smile and looked at the darkening sky. The blanket of clouds reminded you of a thick throw you curled under on cold, rainy days. You wondered if the clouds would be as soft. They lazily floated on by, splitting from each other, merging and morphing into new shapes. You just saw cloud shapes. You nudged Cove and pointed at the sky. What does that look like? Cove looked up at the sky, angling his head back into the side. Finally, he shook his head.
Huh?
I don't see anything. Really? Really? What do you see? Clouds! He chuckled at that. That was kind of funny. Okay, oh, this is pretty. All the sun's light faded from the sky and the moon rose higher. Lizzie got to her feet, dusting strands of grass from her bare legs and surveyed her surroundings. The ocean, visible from the crest of the hill, beckoned with every sweep of the tide. Let's go to the beach! There was no argument from the other two. Shiloh was still Shiloh, and Cove would never say no to going to the shore. He was a child of the sea. You? We're happy to do what the others wanted. The beach wouldn't necessarily have been where you were going to go next, but if that was what the others wanted, then you weren't going to spoil the fun. You stepped onto the sand for the second time that day, but it felt different at night. The beach was nearly quiet at this hour. Abandoned sandcastles and footsteps in the sand, too big to belong to any you, were the only indication of how busy it had been only hours earlier. Before you kicked shoes off and removed socks and walked along the water's edge, the waves tickled your feet. I wonder what would happen if you tried to take a bath in the ocean with shampoo and everything. That would be bad for the fish.
Jeez.
I didn't say anyone would do it. Jeez, you have to be serious about everything. You're the one who asked what would happen. That is what it would happen. It'd hurt the fishies. I like bubble baths at home. They're a lot of fun. Me too. Bubble baths are luxurious. You'd never heard Lizzie use that word before. Mommy loves to have bubbles in her bath. She'll turn the lights off and have candles. I'm gonna do that next time. Hey, when's your mom coming to pick you up anyway? Not for a while. She's busy. What about your dad? How come you never talk about him? Nobody does. Take a quick picture, sorry. Don't you know you're not supposed to talk about something like that? Why would jeez. Don't you know you're not supposed to ask something like that? Why would somebody want to talk about something they'd never talk about? You kept your eyes on the ground, watching your toes get swallowed by waves. Even if Shiloh never seemed upset when this topic came up, it made you feel awkward just for having both of your moms. It's okay, I'm like Lizzie and Mina. I don't have a dad. But I don't have two moms. I just have one. She's really great. Oh, sorry. I only have one now, too. My mom isn't here. She's back home. It's just my dad with me.
Sorry.
Oh, I never had a dad or anything, so I don't feel bad. It's really sad that your mom is gone. Cove nodded. Even if they're all different, our parents are good in their own ways. Yeah. Cove couldn't muster a response. You don't think he truly disagreed, though. The silence broke with a splash as Lizzie kicked in your direction. Cold water and sodden sand splattered against your legs. Lizzie giggled, foot still outstretched from the kick. Oh my gosh. Cove joined in, striking the incoming waves to make a splash of his own. Shiloh scurried out of Cove's spray zone with a grin. No, you retaliated. You used your foot to smack the water pulling around you, sending an arc of steam foam flying back onto your sister. You laughed as she spluttered. Some of the salty seawater had landed in her mouth. She spat it out. Yuck. Lizzie chased you intent on revenge. You dashed up and down the coast, taking it in turns to be the predator and the prey, as well as joining forces to take down Shiloh or Cove. Alliances were silently forged and wordlessly broken. Everything was fair in game in war. Ah. Shiloh's brief exclamation was drowned out by the biggest splash yet, caused by him falling face first onto the ground. That would have been bad enough without the wave that followed, cascading over his prone body. Oh no, is he okay? Shiloh sat up, shaking his head like a dog coming in from the rain, as you all hurried to check on him. His hair was plastered to his head, and his soaked clothes clung. If there was any part of him that was still dry, you couldn't see it. Oh jeez. That was crazy. Are you okay? Yeah, my foot got stuck and I fell over.
You Dumbo.
Way to go, Shiloh, you Dumbo. No, help him up. Shiloh didn't take your outstretched hand. Excuse me? Why? After a moment, you dropped it. Lizzie was too busy snickering to notice and held her hand out to Shiloh, too. He reached over and took it. Slowly, he started pulling stuff up from the ground. Are you serious? What an a-hole. Then he slipped on the slick sand, dragging him and Lizzie down just in time for another wave to hit. The water rolled over them. That's what both of them get.
Sorry.
That's what both of them get. I hope they get in trouble. What were the odds of that happening twice in a row? You thought they must be low, but there's no way Shiloh would do something like that on purpose, then pretend it was an accident, especially not to Lizzie. Even if your relationship with Shiloh felt unclear, he did at least like her a lot. Lizzie was his favorite, right? Obviously. Smiling boldly, Lizzie extracted herself from the ground and wiped a streak of sand from her cheek. She didn't intend to let this embarrass her. Well, that's good confidence to have. Shiloh got up again as well, this time without incident. He still looked like a drowned puppy, but that didn't stop Cove laughing at the two of them. With that, it was time to call it a day. The four of you made the journey back home, leaving a trail of wet footsteps and sand in your wake. Damp clothes may have weighed down some of the group, but your spirits were high. Your arms swung to side as a cool breeze flowed past. Your moms were outside, chatting to Cove's dad. We're back! Your mom's faces fell as they took in the state you all were in, ranging from messy to soaked.
No.
Oh my gosh. Elizabeth, is that all you have to say for yourself? You brought half the beach back with you. They certainly did. What's Marigold going to do when she comes to get Shiloh? Is that how you want him to be for the long drive home? Cold and filthy? Lizzie's expression turned sulky over the scolding. Being the oldest could be fun, but it also meant she was the first to get in trouble when something went wrong. Mr. Holden, on the other hand, chuckled as he ruffled Cove's matted hair. You've been out making memories, bucko. I'm glad you had a good time with your friends. Cove used his slightly moist cast arm to push his dad off. Mr. Holden's eyes widened when he noticed even that had gotten wet. Now he was worried too. Oh no. I think they could have found a less risky way to spend time and had just as much fun. That might be right. Kids, what can you do? Come on, Cove. Let's go get you cleaned up and dried off. We wouldn't want that cast to have to be reset. Cove winced at the thought. Okay. That a boy. Mr. Holden casually bent down and plucked Cove up off the ground, ultimately holding Cove against his chest. Sound was already transferring from Cove onto him. But that didn't seem to bother Mr. Holden. Sorry, I'm getting really tired of talking. Cove protested being carried, but only got a reassuring pat on the back for his trouble.
Take care.
Good night, Cove. Thank you for the top cliff. Night, Rose family, and Shiloh too. Resignated to his fate, Cove twisted his body in his dad's arms in order to turn around and wave goodbye. Smiling, you waved back. Good night.
Fine.
Well, we better do what we can to fix you guys up too. Come on, everyone inside. I want you to march straight to the downstairs bathroom. Yes, Mom. Okay, Lizzie's mom. Don't worry about stopping to wipe your feet on the mat this time. That won't do much good tonight. Sitting on an old beach towel your mommy had found, you waited in the hall until you were less sandy. You weren't allowed to go to your room or walk around the house. But you did get to eat a sandwich for dinner there. It felt like an indoor picnic. Well, that's cool. Okay. It had been decided that Shiloh would wash first and borrow some of your clothes. He was already finished and packed away in his mom's car. Miss Fields had come to collect him a while ago. It was a bit of a funny experience seeing him without that hat on for once. Lizzie, being much more soaked than you, got to go in the tub next. It wasn't a bubble bath as she had hoped. This was a no fun allowed cleanup session. At least that's what she claimed. Not much longer and it would be your turn. When the bath was done, you'd have to go right to bed. After a day like this, though, you were glad there weren't going to be any further events. Drifting off to sleep sounded like a great idea. Oh my gosh, everyone. Oh my god, that moment was like... Oh, that's probably my favorite moment so far. I really liked when we sat on the ground with Cove and he's, the clouds moment. But yeah. Alright, everyone, that is going to be it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoy, but if you guys found this video entertaining in any way possible, then please hit the subscribe button and share with your friends so then they can find my amazing channel, just like you did a while ago. But lastly, you're a gem, and I thank you for watching. Have a marvelous day, everyone. Bye!